So we are back with another episode with Real Talk Rima Live. This week we took it away from real estate and bring in a special guest and great friend of mine. And we had some technical difficulties. That's why we're kind of like a few minutes late, but we got it all worked out like we always
Yay.
do, right?
Yeah.
And I want to welcome Brian Lombardo. Brian, he's
Woo!
trainer, amazing human being, and I'm super, super, super excited to be here today with you, Brian. I know
Thank
you
you.
have a busy morning. I know you train and you have your new center going, and I appreciate you being with us today. So, without further ado, Mr. Brian,
Hi,
tell me a
guys.
little about you and your background.
Well, first of all, I'm honored to be asked to be on your podcast today, called a special guest. I guess I feel special right now, so thank you.
You're very special.
But yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, right? A couple hours? Getting up nice and early. Yeah, you look good, by the way.
Thank you.
Let's see. I've been a trainer now since I was 19. I'm 41, so it's going on 22 years. I got first certified. I was 19 years old, right out of high school. And bodybuilding and training and fitness has always been something that I've naturally gravitated toward. I can honestly say it's the one thing in my life that I'm super passionate about. Not just the idea of lifting and fitness and helping people, but just the connections that I get to build within the business and the people that I get to meet, like you. So it's helped me expand my horizons and meet so many people. And the most important thing, like I said, is the connections that I get.
I don't know what I lost you there. Okay, you're fine. I cannot hear you, Brian. You got it?
Technical difficulties. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, you can see me too?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, and most recently, you had mentioned I just opened a recovery center, an outpatient treatment center here in Santa Clarita. I'm sober 5 years now, and that was another passion of mine that I kind of fell into later in life as I struggled myself with addiction throughout my 20s and 30s. And then when I got sober, for me, it was just another avenue for me to be able to help people just like I do with the training. So it's been great so far. We're up and running. There's a lot of red tape and a lot of things that we need to get off the ground. But so far, it's keeping me very busy on both sides.
So let's take it back a little bit. Did the passion of training clients came before your addiction or after? Like, how did that all play out in your life? And were you addicted as a kid, young teenager?
Yeah. So in my younger years, I had a difficult time I don't want to use the word fitting in or kind of finding a group that I felt comfortable with. I wasn't really that great at sports. I played golf. I didn't play football like the other guys. And so for me, fitness was one of the things that I felt really comfortable performing in. I could challenge myself. I never liked group sports. So for me to be able to challenge myself and watch my body grow and change, and I could do it on my own, it was really appealing at first. And then when I got certified and started training, the thing that really kept me going was the ability for me to connect and connect with other people and help them grow and change. Rhea, I can't see you on here.
Yeah, I can see you.
You can see me? All right, you're just a black square, but all right, we'll go for it. I'll pretend like I can see your face. So I pursued other things in my life while personal training. I used to work in the studios for about 12 years. I was a stage manager for Dr. Phil, Steve Harvey. So I worked in the studio industry because my parents wanted me to get a real job, and they didn't think that I would, be able to be too much of a success at training. So I trained part-time while I worked in the studio industry and had a studio out of my home. So I worked during the day at Dr. Phil or Steve Harvey, then I'd come home and I would train clients in my garage. I had a home gym. And I did that throughout the last 20 years. I always had a few clients here and there. I specialized in extreme transformations and competitive athletes, people who compete in the NPC. So I do train bikini athletes, men's physique, bodybuilders, things like that. And once I made my way up in the studio industry, I worked for 12 years to get into the Directors Guild of America. And I was in the Directors Guild. I made it to the top of my field. I was working for the top TV show, Dr. Phil, which was the #1 show at the time on TV. And once I made it, quote unquote, made it to the top, I was miserable. And that's what kind of turned me to my drug use is I was coping with the fact that I wasn't very happy with my decisions and where my life was going, even though I had the wife and the kids and the great job. But for some reason, once I achieved all that, I was absolutely miserable. And the only thing that made me happy was when I got off work and trained people. So once I got sober, and we can go into that in a little bit and how I got sober, but I decided that I really needed to pursue what made me happy and not chase the money and not chase the fame or the prestige of what my title was. And so I decided to give that up and commit myself full time to helping people with training and with their journey of sobriety at the same time.
That's so amazing that you mentioned that you kind of had everything going from the outside and you were miserable from the inside. You were making the money, you had the family, you had the fame, and you were not satisfied and you were not happy inside. And that's how your satisfaction and your comfort was the addiction. Correct?
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So what was that turning point for you?
So to be completely honest with you, I'll tell you the truth. I'm an open book when it comes to my addiction. I was addicted to Xanax, and Xanax is a drug that helps you not stress out so much. It allowed me to go to work every day and not really care about the misery I was feeling inside, and it numbed me from all the things that I was dealing with in my life. I was in a horrible marriage. My career, which was successful, wasn't successful for me personally. So I started to use a lot of these drugs to help me numb the pain. And I decided after years of use that I wanted to quit on my own without knowing the ramifications of what would happen and being ignorant of the process of doing that. So I tried to come off on my own. And after about 5 days of being sober, I was driving home from work. I went and picked up my kids and went to go take them to get some dinner. And I ended up having a seizure while driving in my car. And I crashed my car. Luckily, the kids weren't hurt. And luckily, I was actually sober at the time because I didn't have any drugs in my system. But when you come off of a benzodiazepine like that and you don't get the proper medical care, you can have a seizure and pass out. So I passed out in the car. I crashed and I woke up 3 days later, in the hospital. And with my family around me, letting me know what had happened. And that was the turning point for me. Once I put my children in danger and once I realized I almost killed myself and killed others, I went to treatment right after that. So I spent 30 days in a rehab facility in Palm Springs. And then when I came out, I went to an outpatient treatment program out here in Santa Clarita. And I ended up at that point really making a decision that I wanted to change my life in every facet. So I got a divorce. I quit my job. I moved back in with my parents at 35 years old. And I started from the bottom. And during that entire time, the one thing that really kept me sane and kept me, constant and on my journey of sobriety and recovery was fitness. So, I didn't replace one addiction with another, but I just got more in touch with what my true passion was. And that was fitness. So I started over with everything from the bottom. And during the time that I was getting sober and I was in the outpatient treatment program, I really enjoyed helping other people with my story that were in the program. So I ended up getting a job, getting certified as a counselor, and ended up working at the treatment facility that treated me. So I went from being a participant to an actual counselor. And then I worked my way up there and ended up running the program within about 1.5 years. And that became my full daytime job while I personal trained on the side. And then one thing just led to another. Actually, through fitness, I met my current business partner. I trained him. I got him sober. And he was willing to invest with me into opening a treatment center. And that's how that came about. So all these doors that closed, everything that I was so afraid to lose, from my marriage to my job to the career that I'd worked hard for, I look back now and I'm like so grateful that I lost it. I had zero clue what was going to happen or how it was going to turn out. And when people always say, you always hear people say, just have faith, just walk blindly through it. It's going to happen. When you're in that space and you're losing everything at 35 years old, it's hard to have faith that things are going to work out. But I'm living proof that it does. And if you follow your heart and you follow your passions, that things do work out. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I couldn't be more blessed with my current partner now, who's supportive and loving. My current career, opening the center, and then, training wonderful people like you. I mean, my days are just filled with absolute joy, even though I get up at 2:30 in the morning every day and I work, 10, 12 hours before most people get out of their bed and start their day. I'm very blessed and fortunate that I can do that. The universe has definitely repaid me um, for all the sacrifices that I made. And I feel like I kind of owe a debt to my family and to society for all of those years. I took so much from the universe. I just, I wasn't an honest person. I just didn't really enjoy life, and I just was a taker. And now I feel like it's time for me to give back and use my story and use everything that I've learned to help people change their lives. And that's where I'm at today.
That's so amazing, and thank you for being so vulnerable.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
there's so many people out there that's struggling. I mean, especially with the last 2 years, what's been going on in everybody's lives. A lot of people took it harder than on others. Drugs and alcohol. We
Right.
seem like we have more problems with that in the last couple of years than we had before, especially with young adults and all that craziness that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
What's one thing when it comes to you being a recovered addict and you're being training so many people now, like what would advise, or what would you, if somebody's hearing us today and need help, like what's the one thing you ask them to do today that could change their entire life and turn their lives around? Because I know people, they feel like they're stuck. You were
Right.
stuck at one point. You felt like you had no exit and no way, and probably a lot of crap went through your mind.
Right.
And look where you're at today. You're helping people, whether it's on the physical level or the addiction level, and it's so freaking phenomenal, and it's amazing to see. So what would your advice would be for anybody who's struggling today or going through something, whether it's drug, alcohol, uh, um, being overweight, because we ate so much for the last couple of years because that's all what we had sitting in the kitchen.
Unfortunately, Rima, because of COVID, both of my businesses are booming, right? So it's good for me, but the clientele that I have are right, the victims of the COVID situation. So, for me, there's a few things there that we can tackle. Number one is I truly believe that all of us are gifted with intuition. And I think throughout our childhood and as we get older and we grow, we're kind of told not to follow that intuition. For me, I went through my life trying to make other people happy. My parents wanted me to work in the studio, so I thought that this is what I should do. But deep down in my heart, I knew the right answer, but I just didn't trust myself. So the first thing I would tell people to do is really sit by yourself in peace and in quiet and listen to your heart. What's it telling you? Because our intuition is a wonderful guide. I mean, when you have a decision you have to make, our body and our minds have a great way of telling us, is this right or is this wrong? And 99% of the time, when we go against our intuition, that's when we unravel negative things in our life and we attract those negative things. So what I had to do was get out of my own way. So the first thing I did was, okay, what things in my life are holding me back? The very first one at the time was my addiction. So if you can't think straight and you can't feel, everything in life and the universe is feel, is energy. And if you can't feel anything around you, how do you know what direction to go? How do you know what's right and what's wrong? So first of all, try to clear all the noise and quiet the noise in your life. For me, that was addiction. For some people, it might be overeating. It's all kind of the same thing. But you got to give yourself a chance to get out of your own way. And once you do that, don't be afraid to be who you are. For so many years, I was listening to what people thought I should be and what people wanted me to be. And the whole time deep down, I'm going, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that, but I'm supposed to, because I didn't trust myself. So trust your intuition and it will guide you in the right direction. And the other thing is don't be afraid to change and to live a new life. Like I said earlier, everything that I was afraid to lose, once I followed my intuition and lost it, I realized those were the things that were holding me back. We have this idea of comfort and what that means. And comfort's just fear of change, in my opinion. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. Just like with working out and with fitness, if you're not uncomfortable, you're just kind of checking the boxes, and that's where you grow. You hear me say that all the time, right? Like if it's starting to hurt, this is where we grow. This is where it happens. So realize that before you get over it, you have to go through it. And you're going to have some pain. You're going to have some regret. You're going to go through these emotions. But as long as you don't let those emotions dictate your decision making. So I like to say you want to respond intentionally instead of reacting emotionally. If you can learn how to do that within yourself, to respond intentionally and not let your emotions guide your direction, but let your intention and your heart guide you. It'll never lead you in the wrong direction. It might not feel good at the time. You know, when I got sober, it was the most painful, depressing, sad, hard thing I've ever had to do in my entire life. I literally wanted to kill myself. I thought there's no way I can move in with my parents at 35 years old. What a loser. I can't believe I did this to myself, but I had to sit with that. And I had a choice to make. Either I'm going to get busy living, or get busy dying, like they say in Shawshank Redemption, right? So I decided that who am I living for? I'm living for myself first, and then for my family and my kids. And what decisions do I need to make myself happy, and also to let everyone know that they don't have to worry about me anymore. And all your family wants is what's best for you, and they want you to be happy. And so once I, told everybody and let them know what my direction was, they were all very supportive. My parents are very supportive. When I met Caitlin, my wonderful partner now, she knew what I was going through. Our very first date, we went over every negative thing and all my addictions and all that stuff, because I wanted to get it out of the way. I wanted her to know who I really was and where I was coming from. And I was no longer afraid to be myself. And to be able to wake up like that every day. Oh, sorry. Can you see me?
I cannot see you. You did something to your camera.
Can you see me?
Yeah,
okay,
I can.
Stupid cell phone. So, I also, there's a few things with the way I handle addiction and treatment that is not really the norm. You had mentioned being in recovery. I know it might sound cliche or cheesy, but I like to use the word discovery. I don't really want to recover too much of my past. I'm not too happy with who I was.
I love that.
Yeah. So when people say, I'm a recovering addict, I'm not an addict anymore. I'm not an addict today. I'm not an addict. I don't like to identify as that. I'm in discovery of a new life. I've survived addiction. I survived that addiction, and now I'm on a new path to discover what my new life is. I don't want to recover anything from my past anymore. I want to learn from those mistakes and move forward. So language is really important in how we talk to ourselves and how we view ourselves. And one of the main things I teach my clients at the treatment center is you can't live with that stigma. The way you talk to yourself and the way you look at yourself. The reason why you had mentioned, you thank me for being so open and so vulnerable is because I'm not ashamed of who I am. I love who I am now. I've discovered who I am. And if anyone, doesn't agree with that, then whatever. This is my life. You know what I mean? So I'm on a path to discovery, and I'm just really thankful for everything that's happened to me. And if you can get to that space, if you're suffering from addiction and you're suffering from whatever it might be, you have to sit and just turn within and really ask yourself what it is that you want. Not what other people want you to do, but what is it that makes you happy? And regardless of what that is, don't put a number on it. You have to make this much money. You have to do this. You have to do that. We're in the society now where everyone has to do, and start being a human being and not a human doing. And you'll start to get the answers revealed to you. The universe will reward you for being yourself and for being a positive energy in it, and I truly believe that. Yeah.
And you are workaholic. You always tell me I'm workaholic, but you're more than workaholic than me.
The only holic I am, is workaholic.
So how do you manage? Like you just mentioned at the beginning, you only sleep 3.5 hours, some days 2.5 hours. I hear you saying some morning. So how do you manage? And I know you're an amazing father, amazing boyfriend, and you're leading this large life that you want to help everybody, whether through fitness or recovery. And how does Brian do
it? To be honest with you, and it's as old, one of the oldest sayings in the book, I take it one day at a time. When I wake up every day, Rima, and I meet you at the gym at 4 a.m., I get up about 2:15. I like to wake up and start my day with intention. I don't like to get up at 3:30 to get up and rush and run around and be spastic. I like to get up and take my time and really set my intentions for the day. It's really important to me that someone like you or my clients trust me with one of their most important journeys in their life. So for me, I have to show up for them. And when I don't, I feel it. When I'm too tired, and we've had those days where I've said, Rima, I just can't make it today. I'm not perfect, but I try to manage each day, one day at a time. I wake up and I set my intention for the day. Sometimes I'll meditate on the couch while watching the news with my cup of coffee and just want to start my day with a positive mantra, positive thoughts. I'm grateful, for everything that's in my life. And I remind myself of that, what I'm getting up for every day. I leave a beautiful family at home in bed sleeping. So for me, it's honorable for me to wake up and go work hard for them. So not only am I, setting the tone for them, but I also want to set the tone for my clients. If I get up at 4 a.m. and meet you at the gym and I'm not energetic and I'm not happy and we're not having a good time, you're not going to succeed either. So
That's true.
I start my day off with intention, and I try to end my day with intention. My girlfriend and I, we have a really amazing nightly routine, which I stick with, which we once we lay in bed and I turn my social media off and I turn my phone off, we just spend time together. I don't think about anything else. There's a certain time where I shut it all off and I allow myself to breathe. I allow myself to be present in the moment. I allow myself to be grateful and thankful for the things that happened that day or the negative things that happened. We sit at night, every night in bed, and we talk about the day, and then we let it all out. So I start my day the same and I end it the same every day. And that allows me to live a positive day. If I take those emotions from the day before and carry that on to the next day, I'm just living in that same negative space over and over. So every day is a new day. And I know if I started a certain way and give myself a routine. So I recommend that to a lot of people and a lot of my clients. Start the day off with an intention. Like, don't wake up and be a victim of your environment and a victim of your circumstances. Like, I can set the tone and I fill my brain and my heart with the thoughts and the positive things that I want to hear, that I want to be a part of. I block the rest out. Things come and go throughout the day, negative, positive. And at the end of the day, I finish it with the most amazing person in my life, what makes me the most happy with my family. And I go to bed with nothing on my brain at all. And that's what's important to me. And that's how I keep it going every day.
That's amazing. You asked me a question this morning, and I'm going to throw that question back at you. You said, Rima, what do you do to yourself? So I'm going to ask you, Brian, what do you do for Brian?
Rima, you're not supposed to do that.
You reminded me of this question this morning. I'm like, I'm going to throw it back.
I definitely enjoy my downtime. I'm not a very high maintenance person. I'm very simple. Give me some good food, some good company, and I'm good to go. Like I did say earlier, for me, self-care is being around the people that I love and not avoiding them or ignoring them. Because of my busy day, I make sure that I connect with the most important people in my life. And that's really a daily thing that I do. Like I said, I meditate in the morning, set the intention, go through my nightly routine. I do like to work out. That's my form of self-care. I do actively compete in men's physique competitions. And, for me, I love to Netflix and chill. So you give me a good series, I'll watch all 3 seasons in a few days. I'll watch it on the step mill. So for me, my self-care is detaching from all the stress and all the negative in my life and just enjoying a great show or enjoying my family. Like that's really what it is. Every once in a while, I'll throw in a massage, maybe every few months here and there. But definitely Netflix and chill would be my self-care.
Perfect. And Brian, as you know, I've been training for a long time, and we start training one-on-one probably the last 6 months. And I know with all the training that I had in the past, like, you are honestly special in so many ways, even with other clients that I talk to. It's just like you have ways to kind of know your clients, know what they want, and work on that. And for me, you changed my body. I told you what I want and you delivered. And I just it's freaking amazing because I've been working out all my life. Like, where was my abs before? Where were the tris and biceps? So
yeah.
How did you learn all these techniques, and what makes you different from other trainers? There's a lot of amazing trainers in our town.
Absolutely.
I'm not taking that away from them, but you have a special gift, and I want to, acknowledge it here because I love the way I look.
Thank you so much. I would definitely say my approach might not be like others. I do get exhausted after working 6 or 7 hours in a row because I like to give it my all. Whether it's, I'm very attentive to my clients' needs. I know what we did the last session. I know what we're doing this session. I'm on top of you every single rep, every single, whether it's a break, whether it's whatever. I'm really always constantly giving myself feedback and observing the situation and trying to give my client what they need. I don't like to just, I know you know this. I'm not one of those guys who's like, hey, go do 10 of these. I'll be right back. I mean, I really take pride in letting everyone know that I work with that I'm there for you. I mean, you're paying me for an hour. It's not cheap. And I take that very, very personally. I have pride in what I do. And, when it comes to techniques, I've been doing this for 21 years. So I've honestly learned what I know you can't learn in a textbook. I've trained with some of the top bodybuilders in the world, some of the top trainers in the world. I've been fortunate enough to learn from some of the best. And so when it comes to, biomechanics and physiology and how muscles work and what planes that they move on, I can see someone's body, and it's almost like a sixth sense for me. I can see the way they move. I can see the way they work. And it's almost like this intuition, this instinct that comes through. If someone, their form is a certain way, I just know how to adjust. That just comes with time, with experience. I've trained so many people over the last 20 years that I've really honed in my skill. And I train the way that I train. And the way that I train might not be how other great trainers train, but I know what works for me. And I know it works for my clients, because I hope I listen. I hope I'm a good receiver of communication, and the feedback you give me lets me know, okay, we're on the right path. And one thing is, I'm not afraid to admit where I'm wrong, and I'm not afraid to admit where I can grow. So giving my clients the ability to give me that feedback and let me know what their needs are, I can always evolve and get better. And that's the great thing about fitness and training, is there's no end to this. I mean, I'm getting better and better. I mean, I'm in the best headspace of my life when it comes to training right now. I just feel like, this is going to sound crazy, but I feel like a fitness Jedi. You know what I mean? Like when we're training together, I get in this zone. The hour goes by so fast, but I'll see you do something, and then it reminds me that we can do this better, and we can do this better. And I know what energy you brought into the last workout. So this is the energy shift we need for this workout, and what muscles we did, slow twitch, fast twitch. It's like a weird computer in my brain, and it's all clear. It's like the Matrix. I'm making it sound crazy, I know. But
you mentioned the hour goes fast. The hour goes fast for you. It does not go fast for me. Just want to remind you of that.
Yeah. But the number one thing, Rima, the number one thing is, I really do love what I do. I mean, I genuinely love when you do the remark you just gave to me. It gave me goosebumps. I genuinely, in my heart, am so grateful for someone like you, who's trained with other people, who's been on a fitness journey for a long time. Trusting me with your journey is an honor, and I don't take that lightly. And so I think maybe what sets me apart from other trainers is I don't treat it like a paycheck. If I'm working with someone and I don't think that we're a good fit, I don't keep training them. It's just as important for me to have a client match my energy and for us to be on the same page than it is for me just to collect a paycheck. So I don't want to do someone else the disservice of not being able to provide for them what they need. And I'll admit that. I know where my weaknesses are. I know the type of people that I like to work with, and I want to give the people what they need. And even if that's not with me. So I'm very open to that. And I'm fortunate enough that I can pick and choose my clients and I don't have to train everybody. But that just comes with, 21 years of experience. I think people who train with me know what they're going to get. And if they aren't ready to give it, then we're not going to be a good fit. I demand a lot from you, as you know, because for me, if you're going to train with me, I want you to look back 3 months from now and not only just be different physically, but I want you to be different mentally and emotionally. I want you to feel better. I want you to look at fitness in a different way. I want you to take the time that we spend together and have it mean something of value for you in your life. And that's what gets me excited every day. That's why I love waking up at 2:15 in the morning and being there with you and being there with my clients, because I feel like I'm providing a life-changing service. And I think
100%.
trainers who approach their career that way will become better trainers. You're not just there. You can Google and YouTube a workout, but what do you bring to the table that's really changing and affecting someone's view of how they look at fitness and how it can affect their life? Because I truly believe that fitness and conquering your transformation journey is one of the hardest things in the world to do, even more than overcoming addiction. And I can get into that if you'd like, but
yeah, please do. Yes.
So since I work in both fields,
like to have that ability, and like for me, like for example, getting up at 4, it's not at 3 o'clock when I see you at 4. It's not always comfortable. I wanted to stay in bed. I wanted to not to go getting tortured by Brian Lombardo at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So go ahead, and since you trained so many people, it's just like, please, fill us in on that part of it.
So someone like you and someone who has, made a transformation, my clients who, started from nothing and then all of a sudden are stepping on stage to compete, or someone who's lost, one of my clients, Fernando, has lost 60, 70 pounds in the last, 8 months. I truly respect those people more than anyone, because I think it's the hardest thing in the world to do. And I'm telling you, I think it's even harder than kicking heroin addiction. And people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. And let me give you an example. If you're an addict and you're using a drug, you can get off of that drug. You can go to treatment, you can go to rehab, and you can avoid that drug. You can surround yourself with people who don't use drugs. You can just, practice abstinence and put yourself in a situation where you don't have to be around it. If you're addicted to food, you still have to eat food. So imagine if I'm a heroin addict, and in order for me to breathe, I have to shoot water in my veins. Imagine trying to shoot water in your veins still, but not putting the heroin in it. So when someone's trying to change the way that they eat, it's a 24/7, all-encompassing mindset that you have to have, because you still have to feed yourself. So you have to be in control of that. And to fight the cravings and to stick with it, I have an easier time. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I have an easier time helping people with their drug addictions than I do having most people stick with a diet training program. The success rate for my clientele is pretty good. Okay, it's pretty high. But if you talk to most people, what's the number one thing they want to do on their New Year's resolution? They want to lose weight. They want to stick with a fitness program. Why? Because they didn't stick with it last year, or they'll train for a week and diet for a week and then fall back into it. Why is that? Is it's the hardest thing to do? To change the way you've been eating and to change the way you've been looking at food and how you look at yourself is it's the hardest thing I believe you can do, because it takes an entire shift in mindset and the view of how you look at food, how you look at fitness, and are you willing to become that person? And so I mean, can you speak to that, Rima? I mean, so for me, has fitness helped you in your career? And other facets of your life?
100%. And we always talk about it. It's not just the looks, it's the energy. It's just the amazing energy that I have. It's just like, I have more energy than a 20-year-old. And we always talk about that. Like, it's just not just, I tell people, like, fitness, it's not just about the way you look. It's about the way you feel inside. Right. And yeah, I get excited now to get up in the morning. Like, you ask me, you want 4 or 5? No, let's do 4 o'clock.
You give me a little LOL in there too, but we still do 4.
So it's crazy. It's crazy to kind of get that mindset and you start seeing the results, seeing the energy. You can go on all day when you're not crashing because you had that much sugar or you did not do your workout. It's just, of course, it helps you in so many ways in life, in relationship, in business, whatever you're doing. It's just, you're going to grow and grow because you have that ability to do so, because your morning starts right. Last week, I had a guest that we talked about winning the day. When I work out in the morning, get a good start, I feel like I won the morning. And when I win the morning, I know I was going to win the day. Versus when I sleep in and I don't work out, it just, I feel like crap during the day. It's like something is missing in my life. And even my kids, like, when they see me grouchy, it's like, Mom, did you work out today? That's what it's getting. It's like, go to the gym. So it's just like, you mentioned, it's like when you get to that stage in life, though, and it's not easy to get there. It's really not easy. It wasn't easy for me to get what I am today. And I'm not young, but it's just, I feel like I have more energy now. I'm falling in love with me working out, doing what I do. And again, I mean, I'm so hot, like the energy itself, it's just like, I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't quit. Like,
yeah. And the thing is, Rima, too, is you gave yourself a chance to feel that, so what I tell people when they first start with me is you got to give it a good 6 to 8 weeks. Most people will work out for a week or two. They'll go have their cheat meals on the weekends. When you start training with me, I always ask my clients, look, give me your all for 6 to 8 weeks. Allow yourself to witness that change. Allow yourself to be that change and just watch it happen. But most people don't give themselves long enough of an opportunity to witness that growth. So they're constantly going back and forth. It's a constant battle between, am I going to be this new person? Am I still stuck in my old ways? Is this really working? And so they never get a chance to really get over that hump. And if you give yourself 6 to 8 weeks of not cheating, of really sticking with a program and seeing the fruits of your labor, it'll be so much easier. Like you said, you'll feel the difference. You'll see the energy difference. You'll see the body start to change. But the only time I don't have success with a client is when they want to work out 4 or 5 days a week, and then the weekends they throw it all out the window. And they always ask me, Brian, how can you work in my drinking and my eating on the weekends? How can you work that into my program? I go, okay, well, don't eat Monday through Friday at all, and then you can afford to do what you're doing on the weekend. It just doesn't work that way. You got to give yourself an opportunity for your metabolism and for your body to change and for you to see that change. Then it becomes so much easier after that. So if anybody's out there looking to really make a significant change, commit to a challenge, commit to a 75-day, training program where you give it your all, no cheating, commit to the process, and watch how your mindset changes. Watch how your body changes. Then all of a sudden it's going to be, I want to, I have to, I'll want to instead of I have to. You're going to want to work out. You're going to want to get to the gym. You're going to want to eat healthy, because when you don't, you're going to feel like crap, just like you said, Yeah,
100%. So what's the future for Brian?
The future for me, let's see. In the next 10 years, I will own my own facility. That's the ultimate goal. Even with my treatment center opening, my dream has always been to own my own elite training facility. And I have a lot of grand ideas, a lot of things that I want to do. But for now, it's really impacting as many people's lives as I can. I know people say that, but for me, I really try to make sure that every time I have available, and the clients that I take on, I give myself, 100% a commitment to them, and really try to affect, because I just love growing my circle. I feel it's like my little tribe. You know what I mean? Like you said, when you talk to other people that train with me, and I want to make sure I give each and every person I'm working with that kind of attention and that kind of love, because it's important to me. So I want to grow my little army. I want to grow my little army of just transformation phenomenons. You know what I mean? Just have you all walking around Santa Clarita in LA, just talking about how great you feel and how much you've changed. So if I can create a little community of warriors that are out there trying to do the best that they can, and if I can surround myself with that energy, gosh, that's a win for me. So long-term goal, next 10 years, I will have my own facility, and I will have my own little space for my army to come to and train at. But in the meantime, I'm working on getting the center to be a well-oiled machine. So helping people with their recovery and with their addictions and changing their lives there. And then also helping people train in the gym and change their lives there. So right now I'm just trying to fill my days with helping as many people as I can. Because if I don't do that, then I'm not happy. So. And
for recovery, what people will reach you, what is your center at?
It's Victory Recovery Center, and it's on Lyons Avenue in Newhall, California. It's a beautiful 2,500 square foot brand new facility. We have a guided meditation and yoga room, full group therapy. So anybody, if you're looking for help or you know someone who needs help, please, you can contact me or our website, Victory Recovery Center. And you just fill out the little information there, and I'll be happy to contact you. If you call the number on the site at Victory Recovery Center or hit the link for the email, it'll directly come to me, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And if you're looking for training, you can catch me on Instagram at Coach Brian Lombardo. Just DM me, and I'd be happy to go over any questions and answer anything that you have. And if you're looking for some help, don't hesitate to reach out. Don't wait till tomorrow. Okay, you can do this now. Listen to what Rima's saying. Listen to what, stop watching other people make their change. Like, you can do this right now. Just decide. And once you make that decision, the universe is going to repay you, and you're going to see the benefits. I promise.
Yep. Start now.
Start now, right? No like Monday dieters.
People forget New Year's resolution. Like, why? What's happening?
I never understood that. I was like, so I'm going to eat like crap and get as fat as I can from now till January.
I'm going to diet after the holidays.
Yes, call me now. If you're out there and you're saying that, call me now. Don't do that, okay?
Yes, please.
I'll set you on track.
Well, Brian, thank you so much. It's been amazing having you. Actually, this has turned to something that's totally like larger than I thought, and I want to thank you for that. So much amazing information for a lot of people out there. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you so much for
Rima. It's an honor
helping so many others out there. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I look up to you. You inspire me every day. You're such an amazing person and a hard worker, and I thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life. So I get just as much from you as you do for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Inspire each other, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. Take
care.
Bye,
everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.